In today's behind the scenes video, I just want to show you a brief demonstration of removing some unwanted noises from recordings. So in previous videos, I've showed you the types of beaches, the microphone setup and that kind of thing. But today I wanted to show you what happens when you get some noise in the recording, because obviously when you go to the beach, there's people there might be birds, there might be people walking their dogs, there might be other noises, stuff like that. So ideally I try and get to a location as far away from everything as possible and somewhere completely remote. And some of my favorite recordings are like that because it's either middle of the night or it's somewhere really, really far away from any noise and they're just amazing. But you can't always do that. So here, in a previous video, I've showed you this program, but this is essentially the spectrum of the noise, and the brightness is showing you the intensity of the noise. In this bottom channel, so there's 3 channels here for the 3 microphones that were recorded, and in this bottom one, you can see there's this bright line here. So maybe I can zoom in a little bit so you can see it a little bit more, but it's essentially, if we just go there, it's essentially a noise here that's not the ocean, it's not the waves, and it's something that's going to be distracting when you listen to it. You're going to hear this kind of, it's about 2000 hertz, so it's fairly high frequency in terms of you'll definitely be able to hear it. It's not like a rumble or anything, and that's probably going to be quite distracting. So there's lots of different ways to repair this in the program that I use, and it's a very clever program, but I'll just show you a very rough example. You can clearly see this piece of audio. If we were going to remove this whole section here and cut it out, then it's not really going to work because we're going to have to crossfade something in. If we delete this whole section of audio, then the synchronization with the audio and the video doesn't work anymore. If we just deleted it and moved everything over, for example, because then the video wouldn't match the audio file, because I take both together and I synchronize them. So you can't really just delete it. But what you can do in this program, which is really, really good, is you can get a similar piece of audio from maybe just before, or maybe just after, or maybe a different place in the file. So for example, I can select this piece of audio and I can copy it, and then I can paste it over here, and you can see now it's just pretty much just disappeared. So you can see this is where I've pasted over that piece of audio, and now if I undo that, you can see now we have that streak, that piece of noise back in. So this is a really great tool. Sometimes this is the only way to replace noises like a dog barking. If otherwise the recording is great, but a dog just barks in a random place, it can kind of ruin the recording, and it's not going to be nice if you're sleeping. Likewise, if there's a bird that happens to fly past and, you know, sing right next to the microphone, that would look similar on the waveform, and you can actually just remove just that frequency and keep everything else, keep the whole wave still in, keep the whole ambience of the surroundings in, but you've just removed that bird noise. So this is a great tool. This is just a very rough demonstration of one way of doing that. There's lots of different methods within this program, but I wanted to give you a bit of behind the scenes because sometimes I think it's hard to understand, okay, how do you get to a recording? You know, if you do it, how do you get to a place where there's no noise? Or if there is noise, how do you remove that without destroying the recording? And this is one of those ways. So hopefully you found that interesting, and I'll see you in the next video.